Hi, and welcome to another episode of Spirit of the Age. My name is Kevin. I'm with Pellegrino Walk. And in this particular episode, we're going to do things a little bit differently. In my attempt to look at the Supernatural Life Conference that was going on in San Diego, kind of got on a rabbit trail a little bit. And so we've been talking about the Supernatural Life Conference, and as you could see from this picture in their Facebook, I mean, some pretty big names in the Apostolic Prophetic Network, the New Order of the Latter Rain. Bill Johnson, Georgian Banov, Patricia King, Cindy Jacobs. These are all very, very big names in the NAR. And, looking at that, examining that, looking at their actual teaching, we did a number of different episodes. And this one, again, a little bit different. And mainly because when I really started to look into this a little bit further, I was looking at the location. Okay, where are they having this in San Diego? And so I just did a normal Google search, and it's Faith Chapel, San Diego. And as you look to the right, you'll notice that it says Faith Chapel, Assemblies of God. So I more or less did a double take on that because, here's the real reason. I had been in the Assemblies of God when I was younger. My mother brought me to an Assemblies of God church. I went to one of their schools at one time. And so I'm really familiar with the way that they handle things. And of course, knowing a little bit about Latter Rain and the fact that the entire movement was denounced by the Assemblies of God in 1949. And we're just going to look at this real quick. And again, this is, thank you, John Collins. I got this off your website. But I believe this is originally from Church Watch Central, or this is just a link to Church Watch Central. They're the ones that actually have the document. But this is the minutes and constitution from the Assemblies of God 23rd General Council. And I wanted to make it clear, we're going to, I believe this is page 26, but they deal with the New Order of the Latter Rain. And this is the group, this is the theology that most of everything that we're seeing in the NAR and we're seeing at this particular conference, Supernatural Living, we're talking about the extremes of the NAR. We're talking about, we're really talking about Latter Rain, the New Order of the Latter Rain, repackaged, reinvented to an extreme. If you look at the Latter Rain movement itself, it was somewhat contained. As it has developed and as it moved from the healing revivals and all that, it splintered off and went into various churches, and various leaders carried this message, eventually coming into more prominence in the 1980s in the prophetic movement, and then just kind of exploding in the 90s under Wagner and all his organizations. And it's the beast, so to speak, that it is today, right now. So this is the background on it. So 1947, 48, when the Latter Rain starts, by 1949, the Assemblies of God have a general council. And here's where it is, page 26. And let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. That might help out a little bit. But so I want to start about midway on page 26, where it says that we disapprove of those extreme teachings and practices which, being unfounded scripturally, serve only to break fellowship of like precious faith and tend to confusion and division among the members of the body of Christ, And be it hereby known that this 23rd General Council disapproves of the so-called New Order of the Latter Rain, to wit. There's 6 points here. I want to go over these 6 points. So they are disapproving, they even call it the so-called New Order of the Latter Rain. Number 1, the overemphasis relative to imparting, identifying, bestowing, or confirming of gifts by the laying on of hands and prophecy. We just did a video on this, impartation, and the extreme of that in the latter rain, and what that actually means, that they're actually transferring gifts and impartation to one another. I mean, to me, that's a pretty scary thing, because they're sharing it. And it's again, a lot of it's manifest sonship, where you've got higher levels of mature believers that are extreme sons that are imparting. Those are the spiritual fathers in the latter rain and manifest sonship camps, and they're imparting to the lower initiates, so to speak. So first off, they denounce the imparting, saying that that's something that they're finding to be incorrect. Number 2, the erroneous teaching that the church is built on the foundation of the present-day apostles and prophets. It's pretty clear what they're saying there. The extreme teaching, number 3, as advocated by the New Order regarding the confession of sin to man and deliverance as practice, which claims prerogatives to the human agency which belong only to Christ. Again, putting everything in our own hands so that we can do all the things that Jesus does, or what Jesus will do. I'll go on about this stuff forever, so I don't want to get into all that right now. I want to concentrate on this document. So going back to the document, number 4, the erroneous teaching concerning the impartation of the gift of languages as special equipment for missionary service, even out of Azusa Street. They were talking about that the gift of tongues or languages meant that they were going to be able to go to other countries. In fact, many of them did, and found out that they really weren't speaking the language of the country. But in 1949, the Assemblies of God denounced that. Number 5, the extreme and unscriptural practice of imparting or imposing personal leadings by the means of the gifts of utterance. And then number 6, such other wrestlings and distortions of Scripture interpretations, which are in opposition to the teachings and practices generally accepted among us. So again, what we're looking at is a document from the Assemblies of God, from their 1949 General Council, that says the latter rain movement, as it existed at the time, they were calling it a so-called movement, and they were denouncing their practices altogether. So in the back of my mind, as I'm perusing through all of this information for the Supernatural Life Conference, again, I come upon the fact that Faith Chapel is an Assembly of God church. And I'm thinking, well, that can't be, right? So I call Springfield, Missouri, and I finally get rerouted to Southern California. I call up the office, the Assemblies of God Southern California region office, and I get a voicemail, basically, dial the extension, otherwise put your message in a general voicemail. This was yesterday, so I left a message. I explained who I was. I explained that I had been involved in the Assemblies of God before, and I wanted a statement from the Assemblies of God. Okay, so help me understand. Is this particular church either no longer a part of your denomination? If that's the case, then I would understand. Or maybe it's just affiliated with the denomination. Or thirdly, maybe the denomination doesn't really have any concern about what the churches are doing, and that would be unthinkable. So, not knowing their statement and not understanding all this, I'm waiting for a phone call. I might be waiting for a long time, but I figured, why not in the meantime look online and see what I could find out? So I did, and I looked up the particular region that the church is in. It's Region 11, and of course you can see right here, Spring Valley Faith Chapel. They call it Faith Chapel San Diego, but it's actually in Spring Valley. And if you click on it, you get this, which is their actual website, Faith Chapel. I believe you could see that on top there. No, you can't. But at any rate, the URL is faithchapelsandiego.com. And as you look at the events calendar, and I'll pull that up and look at the first thing that's listed on an Assembly of God church, of which the latter rain was denounced in 1949, the first thing you see is the Supernatural Living Conference with fellows like Bill Johnson, directly out of the latter rain as far as Bethel Church and the roots of that. And then you have Cindy Jacobs, you have Georgian and Winnie Banov, you have a number of individuals that are part of the NAR. And okay, so let's again give the benefit of the doubt on this, right? So these guys aren't claiming to be the latter rain. In fact, if you ask Bill Johnson or any one of these guys, are they a part of the latter rain? Are they a part of the NAR? They're going to say no. They're going to deny it. But the interesting thing here is they could deny that they're not a part of the NAR. They could deny that they are not latter rain teachers. But when we examine the fruit, we see it's evident. In fact, what we see is a repackaged New Order of the Latter Rain, which the Assemblies of God denounced. You just saw that. A repackaged order that is so much more powerful than the contained latter rain revival, so to speak. It's threaded through so many things across the world. This is not a denomination. It is leaven. That's the best way to describe it. And it is seeped into denominations, obviously the Assemblies of God. It is seeped into global missions. It's in the churches. It's in our conferences. It's in the concerts. And it is everywhere. It has exploded. So my question right now, and I guess it's twofold, or it concerns two organizations. It concerns the actual church, Faith Chapel, Spring Valley, California, and the pastor, who I can pull this up real quick, right here. The pastor, and again, he is he's given an interview here with Georgian Banov that we could look at, but the pastor's name is Josiah Elias. So, Mr. Elias, I would like to personally ask you the question, am I mistaken? Are you guys not a part of the Assemblies of God? And what do you say concerning the 1949 statement as to the latter rain? And then secondly, my question would be for the Assemblies of God district, Southern California district, what is your position on the latter rain now? Have you denied that it's not in existence anymore? Because if we really want to look at this closer, and we can do this at this point, if we look at this particular General Council in 1949, it's not just the latter rain that they are denouncing, but it's these 6 points. And the 6 points identify the very group that is inside the Faith Chapel San Diego Church right now. This group believes in imparting, identifying, bestowing, and confirming the gifts by the laying on of hands and prophecy, transferring gifts. They believe that the church is built on the foundation of present-day apostles and prophets. They believe all of this. So again, my question is, where do you stand? So brothers and sisters who are part of Assemblies of God, we need your help on this. Maybe you can ask your pastor. Maybe we can start to get an answer for this, because I just simply don't understand. So let's look at the first couple seconds of this interview, but you can see that obviously from the website that Pastor Elias is endorsing Georgian and Banov, and you can see it from his statement here.
Incredible Wednesday. It is November the 12th, and I'm trusting that God is moving in your life in an incredible, incredible way. I'm with my amazing friend, Georgian Banov. Georgian is a man of God. He loves the Lord like crazy. He leads global celebration. They are literally impacting the world everywhere that God sent.
Okay, we could stop the endorsement right now. I think that's a pretty good endorsement. So, Pastor Elias, we'd like a statement. Why is this being allowed in an Assembly of God church when there's clear direction from the denomination that this should not be accepted practice in the Assemblies of God? And brothers and sisters, help me out on this. This is the number that I called for the Southern California Assembly of God Network office. Possibly I've called the wrong number, but I would very much like to know what the Assembly's position is concerning the new order of the latter rain. Because listen, it was denounced in 1949. It was completely separated from, and right now today, it is much bigger, exponential, worldwide, and Faith Chapel San Diego has opened its front doors wide. This did not slip through the back door. This came right through the front door willingly. Is it because latter rain is accepted now by most? Is that why? Cindy Jacobs, the Banovs, the Manifest Presence teaching of Bill Johnson. So, brothers and sisters, feel free to comment on this, and maybe we could all get to the bottom of this. And, quite possibly, maybe this church is separated from the assemblies, and I don't have information on that, which would be understandable. But we would still like a position on this from the assemblies. Is this being allowed now? Have we denounced the latter rain when it was a small movement, but now that it's big and all over the place, now we can accept impartation. We can accept the manifest sonship that comes with it. We can accept the dominion that comes with it, the perfection, the immortality, all the heresy. Is that what's happening? I think these are important questions right now. Why don't we look at what's right in front of us? So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that it was enlightening. And I hope we could get to the bottom of this and understand what exactly is going on. God bless you guys. Thank you for watching.